Anything else? Hope we don't run into too many ash spawn out here. Damn bandits are worse than the vermin that infest the ash wastes back home. I never fancied becoming a miner. Didn't want to spend the rest of my days cracking rocks. I was enjoying our travels together before we parted company. I'd be happy to rejoin you for no charge, if you're interested. The best swordsman in all Morrowind is at your service. For the right price. Teldryn Sero, blade for hire. If you have the coin, I'm at your service. I'm glad that I'm finally traveling with someone who seems competent. My last patron was killed trying to tackle an entire fort of bandits alone. Dawnstar is full of struggling miners. Sounds a lot like a certain town in Solstheim, eh? Long story, but I don't see the harm in sharing it with you. My last patron was a true Nord. He was dressed in animal skins, had tattoos on his face. A real traditional type, if you know what I mean. He had an insatiable bloodlust and was extremely stubborn. One of the toughest employers I've ever had. Simple. He paid well. Very well. Anyway, we'd just cleared a ruined fort somewhere outside of Whiterun, and when we got outside, we saw one of them galloping away on horseback. Well, my boss wasn't about to let him get away, so we pursued. On foot. For 3 days, until we ended up tracking him to one of the largest bandit encampments I'd ever seen. My patron took one look at me and made the most menacing grin I'd ever seen. At that moment, I knew I'd never see him again. No amount of money would ever be worth that kind of death. Despite the foul beings that infest this place, I'm certain we'll find plenty of wealth to make it worth our time. You may want to be careful down here. The Thieves' Guild makes the Ratway its home. I've called Raven Rock my home for a number of years. Azura knows why. It's a mess. You ready to get going? With the ash from Red Mountain covering half the island, it's astonishing how much Solstheim reminds me of home. There are restless dead about. I suggest we proceed with caution. So, this is Riften. Glover Mallory told me a good deal about the place. It looks exactly as I'd pictured. Right away. Right behind you. Riverwood looks peaceful. If I had to settle in Skyrim, this might be the place I'd choose. I don't know why I decided to make my way to Solstheim to seek my fortune. I should have stayed at home. Our journey's been quite rewarding so far. Hopefully you won't mind sharing the spoils. All this walking. I wish there was a silt strider around here. How can the Skull stand it up here? It's freezing. Solitude, home to the East Empire Company. The heartless bastards. It looks like you already have someone with you. If you want me to join, you'll have to part ways with them first. Looks like you already have someone with you. If you want me to come along, you'll have to ask them to leave. I've got swords, spells, and a few other tricks up my sleeve. You'll find I'm full of surprises. You like my chitin armor? It was specially crafted for me by Grendis Rolovo, one of the finest master armorsmiths in Morrowind. Spriggan are loathsome creatures. They summon some of the most benign beings of the forest and bend them to their will. Oh, the stench! We must be nearing a giant's home. I wonder how many souls were lost when this ship met its fate. The Telvanni are amazing. Look what they've grown from the ash. Have you ever seen anything like it? That's not going to happen. The Pale reminds me of the northern part of Solstheim, rife with freezing cold weather and full of unfriendly creatures. Vampires are wretched beings, feeding off others the way they do. Ugh, it's disgusting. Very well. Make it quick. I don't like this waiting game. Warlocks practice all sorts of foul sorcery. we should proceed with caution. What would possess someone to give their allegiance to her scene, only to see their free will taken from them like this? What do you have in mind? What did you need? Whiterun, the pride of Skyrim. Doesn't look like much to me. Now Blacklight, on the other hand, that's a proper city. So this is the fabled College of Winterhold. Amazing. You better not be gone long. You're the boss. Don't pass up on this opportunity, Outlander. I'm worth every coin.